Aner entered and he said, "Hi, my name is Aner Shapira. The Hamas have penetrated Israel. There are terrorists inside our land, but don't be afraid." So the first thing, he calmed them down. There are 20 terrorists heading the shelter. He went out and saw the cars and saw the terrorists heading, fully armed, with machine guns, with RPG. People were afraid. So Aner told them, I will stand at the entrance. You should all lie down. But he said, if they will throw the grenades inside, what I will try to do, I will try to pick the grenade and throw them back on them. If I miss or something happens to me, you have to continue. And a few minutes after that, first grenade was thrown inside, second grenade, and then each time picks the grenades and throws them back. And you hear in the recording, you hear them saying, "What a hero, what a man. He's throwing all the grenades."
Welcome to Proclaiming Justice, a podcast from PJTN that focuses the light of truth on vital issues in today's headlines that impact every American. I'm your host, Laurie Cardoza Moore, founder and president of Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, and I'm here to educate, motivate, and activate you to action. I want to arm you with the truth and the facts you'll need to fight and preserve our constitutional republic and uphold the Judeo-Christian values our nation was founded upon. On October 7th, when Hamas terrorists attacked Israel, one young man, Aner Shapira, stood at the entrance of a small shelter facing 20 armed terrorists. With nothing but courage, faith, and even a broken bottle in his hand, Aner threw back grenade after grenade to protect the innocent people inside. 7 lives were saved because of him. In this powerful episode, I sit down with his father, Moshe Shapira, who shares the incredible story of his son's final moments, the faith that gave him strength, and the legacy he left behind through his music and his message of unity. This is not just a story of heroism. It's a testimony of moral clarity, of good confronting evil, and of light that still shines from Jerusalem to the nations.
I was born in Israel. My family came to Israel 100 years ago from Russia and Germany. Like Shira's family. Shira's family also, they came also from Europe in the beginning of the 20th century. They had the privilege to be the founders of the states. My grandfather is one of the people that signed the Declaration of Independence. It was in the parliament for 40 years, from the beginning till he passed away. I'm named after him. Moshe Shapira was his name, and Aner and my grandfather share the same date of birth. I mean, in the Jewish calendar, and have lots in common. Beside that, I can tell is something very strange. Like my grandfather got wounded from a grenade in the Knesset on October 1957. My grandparents came to Israel from at that time it was Palestine. They came from Russia and from Germany. And my grandfather, that I'm named after him, Moshe Shapira, he was one of the people that established the State of Israel. He signed the Declaration of Independence. I'm sharing with him the name, but Aner shares with him his birth date, which is in the Jewish calendar, it's Zayin Be'adar. And they have lots of things in common. So maybe later on we'll speak about that. And we work, we are both, me and Shira, we're both architects. I did a lot of with preservation. I'm in Jerusalem and in Israel. And it's another privilege to be one of the builders of Jerusalem. It's in Judaism, one of the names of God is the builder of Jerusalem. So if I participate in this big mission, so it makes me very pleased. Aner is our older son. We have 7 kids. Aner is the older one. And as an older kid, he was always like a kind of a leader. It's a third parent, actually, for the kids. He had always spoke for his values and stood for them. Since he was a very small child, I mean, in school, if a principal, a teacher, or somebody bullied one of a student, so he would always stand, fearless. And even when he grew up, I mean, when he was in high school, so he used to stop policemen if he saw them asking for investigation, like, and he thought that it's not based on values, racism or things like that. He always stood against that. For him, it was very, very important. I mean, to stand wherever he saw somebody in a bad position, in stress. So he always stood for him. That's something that since he was a small child till the last battle of his life. I think one more thing I want to mention about Aner. Aner was a musician. I mean, a musician and an artist. He played classical pianos since he was 6 years old till 18. He made a huge recital, like at the end of high school, and he got injured. He wanted to get in the elite unit in the IDF, in the best elite unit, but he got injured and he had to get a surgery, and it took him like a year and a half. And at that time, he just started recording himself. He opened a home studio, and he shifted himself from classical music to hip hop, because he thought that there was things he had a lot. Since he was a small child, he used to write a lot, and like we have books that he wrote, and he had a very strong vision of how things should be. And the hip hop and the rap style, and it's a style of music that you can make a statement. And he recorded like more than 60 songs that we have from him. And actually, we've launched them. We've launched two albums, and every year we hope to launch more and more of his music and his art. And for him, music was the big love of his life. And when he was in the army, so he was a superb soldier. He got all the medals that you can get, and the officers, they understood that he doesn't want to be an officer. And they came to him and they asked, why you're, I mean, you're so qualified, you're the best soldier that we have. And he said, no, I'm an artist, I want to make music. And that was his big love. But in the other hand, he was a very good soldier. And I asked him once, why do you want to serve in an elite unit? So he said, we're in a danger of life here in Israel, and I won't let anybody else to danger his life in order to protect me. So I prefer to be the protector than to be the one that is being protected by others. So for him, it was very, very important. Although he was normally, when you think about somebody that is very qualified in the army, so you think about somebody that's is very militarized in his approach, and he had a very humanistic. He loved every human being for being a human being. For him, no question of religion, race. It's for him, and he sings about that in his music, and also in his last battle of his life. He didn't know anybody there in the shelter. He didn't know if there are Jews, Muslims, Christians. For him, there were humans inside, and that was that's what counts. What happened on October 7th, 2 days before, and they came up for a short vacation from the army. It was we have just entered an apartment we have built on top of our house. We added a few floors, and it was a very long procedure. It took like 10 years. So all the family were involved, and it was the first time that I mean, we've just 2 days before that we entered the apartment, and it was also the first meal that all the 7 kids were gathering, because we had one daughter that was in a trip in India, another girl was in the army. So it was the first meal that it was all the 7 kids with us together we have a huge balcony in our house. And he was so pleased. He said, wow, the house is so nice. We just bought on that Friday new furnitures for the house. So it was all brand new, and we all felt like a huge festival there on the roof that we had. And but he said, after the meal, I have to go with my friend Hirsch Goldberg Polin. It was his best friend, and it was his birthday. And he said, I have to go to the festival. There is a music festival. Normally in holidays he stays at home, but he said this time I have to go, because it's important for me to go with Hirsch to the festival. So they went to the festival. They get there. I mean, they left Jerusalem after midnight, so something like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They came there with a few pictures from them, from the where they sat there with friends, and around 6:30 they start seeing rockets on the sky, and the people that organized the festivals, canceled the festival, said we're closing the festival. You should go out from this location. And phoned his commander. And served in an elite unit, and he was based on the border, on a Sufa base next to Gaza. But he was on vacation, so he was unarmed. He was with the sandals, t-shirt, and he spoke with his commander. Commander said, "Okay, you have to recruit all your soldiers, and tell them to come back, come immediately to the base." And I said, I'll be the first one to be there, because I'm in the south. I'm in the festival. I'm like a half an hour driving from the base. He didn't tell us anything, because we observed the Shabbos, so he didn't phone us, and we in Jerusalem, we thought that there was something there are rockets, but we didn't know. So I went to synagogue. And after coming back from the synagogue, around 11 o'clock, another girlfriend called us, and she asked us if we heard anything from him. We said no, we didn't hear from him. We tried to phone him, but there was no answer. But she said, yeah, we said maybe he's a soldier, so maybe he's in the base, and they can't call. But she said, no. There was an attack on the festival, on the music festival, and from that moment we started worried. We understood, and that's amazing, because we know all the story of Aner before even his body was found. What happened at that time in Jerusalem, when we started starting calling people, but there was no answer. I called his commander, and he said I spoke with him on 6:30, but there was no. But since then, I haven't seen him. All the other soldiers arrived from all over Israel to the base, so I don't know what happened to him, but he's not with us. And so we knew that something happened, but we didn't know what. We found people from different elite units that went to search for him, but nobody found him. And we even got the location of the shelter.
Right.
But Monday, this what happened on a Saturday. Sunday, there were no news, but Monday, we got a call from a young girl, and she was frightened in her voice, And she said, I was with your son, Aner, in the Migunit. It's a small shelter. Thanks to him, I'm alive. He managed everything. So we asked her, well, what did he manage? She said, I can't tell you, I'll let you know. And we asked her, well, what happened to him? She said, he's severely injured. I don't know what happened to him. Well, I was evacuated. So we understood something happened, but and he managed something, but we didn't know anything. But Tuesday already, somebody else called. And he came with all the story. It's a father of another survivor, the survivor that took the picture. There's a picture that you see all the people covering their heads, lying down on the ground, and you see inside the shelter, and you see Aner standing at the entrance. And since then, we know the story. And what happened is that Aner, after they came out from the festival, and he said if he was hitchhiking there, I mean, then the girl that took the car, he told her that he had to go to the base. So she started driving towards the direction of the base on the highway, but then they heard shootings, so they decided to stop on the sideway and to enter a shelter. The small shelter is meant for rockets, not for. It's without a door. It's a concrete structure for 8 people, something like that. So they stopped. They entered. There were already 23 people inside, and they were 4 that came. 3 that came with Aner, so 27 people. The space of this shelter is something for 8 people. Normally, it's something like by 2 by 3 meters. It's very, very tiny. And Aner entered, and what's amazing is that we have records from inside, from outside. We have movies that people took with cellulars, so we have recording from that moment till the moment he got killed, and even after that, we have records of what happened. Aner entered and said, "Hi, my name is Aner Shapira. I'm a soldier in this the Nachal elite unit. I must tell you, the Hamas have penetrated Israel. The terrorists inside our land, but don't be afraid. We are next to a very big base. The army is on its way. I phoned them. Everything will be okay." And one of the survivors, she told us that she shouted to him, "Aner, I'm so pleased you came. I'm now relaxed." So the first thing, he calmed them down. But then you hear in the records, there was a journalist there that she played a cellular on record. We have like 3.5 hours of recording of what happened, even after she got killed. And you hear him saying, there are 20 terrorists heading the shelter. He went out and saw the cars and saw the terrorists heading, fully armed, with machine guns, with the RPG. People were afraid. So Aner told them, I will stand at the entrance. You should all lie down. You search for something that can protect the people. So he found a bottle of beer, he broke it. And the famous picture that you see there is something in his hand. So he stood behind this wall that he can see what happens outside with a broken bottle in his hand, that if a terrorist would enter, he would be able to stop them. But the terrorists were afraid because they saw him standing. So they were afraid of entering. So they started shooting, but they didn't succeed in hitting him by shootings. And Aner told them, I believe it won't last for long. They will start throwing grenades if they're afraid of entering, so that's what they're going to do. But he said, if they will throw the grenades inside, what I will try to do, I will try to pick the grenade and throw them back on them. If I miss or something happens to me, you have to continue. And as he visioned in his mind, a few minutes after that, first grenade was thrown inside, second grenade, and then each time picks the grenades and throws them back. And you hear in the recording of the journalist, Ayelet Arnin, you hear them saying, what a hero, what a man. He's throwing all the grenades. So he threw 8 grenades. And then you hear in the recording, and they're saying, no, no. And a big explosion. Because what happened is that they launched an RPG missile. Actually, it was the third RPG missile that they've launched. The first one got exploded at the entrance. Nothing happened. So, in order to be more accurate, so they came with the RPG very close. So they launched it, but it didn't explode. And in one of the movies you see, Aner was afraid that it would explode, so he threw it on the terrorists. In one of the short movies, because we have movies that were taken outside by, it's almost a miracle. It's a vertical camera that stood there and took nine short movies of 1 minute. Each one of them you see all grenades thrown outside, all this RPG thrown outside, all by Aner. But in the third RPG they succeeded, and there was a big and Aner fell down. It's exactly where he stood. I mean, it was almost it's the line of his head. It got exploded. His best friend Hirsch Goldberg lost his hand in this explosion, and then the terrorists, they didn't know that Aner was hurt, so they continued in throwing grenades. One of the survivors, Hanley, said that if before Aner got killed, he told to himself, "I'll have to continue. There'll be a point that I have to continue." But he was lying on the ground; nobody stood. So he succeeded in kicking one of the grenades. They threw another grenade inside, and one of the survivors that came out of captivity, Or Levi, 4 months ago, he came out, and he told us that when Aner got killed, immediately when he came out, he was hospitalized because he was in a very bad condition. But he asked the army to take care of that. We'll visit him, because he didn't know if we know the story of Aner. He didn't know if there are survivors that told the story. He thought that he's the only survivor. And he said that when Aner got killed, he told to himself, now it's the end. So he closed his eyes. And the moment he closed his eyes, he said to himself, but Aner told us that we have to continue. So he opened his eyes and he saw somebody bending next to him with a grenade on his back. He said it was the first time he saw a grenade in his life. He wasn't in a soldier in a combat unit. But Aner said, you have to pick it. So he said, I picked the grenade, I threw it, the moment I threw it, it got explode. So he said, he saved me in his life, and after his death, he also saved me. But then they threw another grenade, and it got exploded inside. And a fourth grenade got exploded inside. And then they understood that there is nobody is facing them. So they entered, the terrorists entered. They took out 5 people from the shelter, and they start shooting. The people in order to make it clear that nobody will stay alive. But because of this battle that was over in a half an hour, they were short in time. So they thanks to God, they didn't completed the mission, and they have, and when people that were survived from the 7 survivors, and but there were many people that got injured, and because the next time that somebody will come to rescue the people, it will be 7 hours after that, so the people there were bleeding to death. That's a sad story. Otherwise, there'll be many more survivors thanks to Aner. Today we have 10 survivors thanks to Aner. One is Or Levi, still in captivity in Gaza, and 9 in Israel. It's a huge pain, for the family. It's for the brothers and sisters. It's we are very, it's not to say glad, it's not to say glad, but the fact that he survived, he rescued people. And we have 10 survivors thanks to him. And the fact that he showed the world that even when you see cruelty, you have to stand against it. And even if you think you don't have anything, but you still have your values. And you can stand even against 20 fully armed terrorists with values, with moral values. And you can beat them. He didn't rescue his life, but he succeeded in saving many, many other lives. So he had a meaningful life. And his death was also meaningful. And this is something that he left us, and we cherish it. And beside that, we have all his art and his songs and music. And because it's all his art, I mean, mainly his music deals with moral issues and values. So we have a mission of spreading his art. So we opened a non-profit organization, and Aner, before the army, he volunteered for a year with youngsters from a very severe economical background, and he thought that music it's a bridge from between people, between classes, and the idea. I mean, he said that after the army, what he wants to do is to bring music to those that can't afford it. So now that's the thing that we were aiming of dealing with. We're opening in Jerusalem a center for music, that because we believe that, like Anel believed, that music can be a bridge between people, between nations, between religions. And that's a thing that it's part of his legacy, and we want to continue it. What happened in the 7th of October, it's crystal clear. I mean, since then we have many things we can speak about suffering of people in Gaza. I'm saying there is suffer. Whenever you see a war, there is suffer. Both sides are suffering. There are innocent people that get injured. But I think in this case we have to remember what happened in the 7th of October. It's crystal clear what happened. The evil on one side, and the charity and righteousness and the moral values on the other side. I mean, the terrorists that came, they killed Israelis, Hindus, Indians, people from Thailand. They killed Muslims that were dressed like with all the Islamic custom. Young girl shepherding, a Bedouin girl shepherding with she dressed the hijab, and she was a young Muslim girl. She was not connected to the festival, but they killed her because they came with one mission. The mission was to kill everybody that is. And from the Megonit, the first man that got killed was a Bedouin that was in the Megonit. So this is one hand. I mean, this brutal violence, evil. That I mean, you can't think about something more evil than what happened there in its appearance, and it's not covered with any ideology. It's killing for killing. And in the other hand, you see, I mean, the people of the festival, of the Nova Festival, from all nations, people that came to sing and dance, believe in love, in peace. In the Megonit, 20 people there, 20 terrorists from the outside, fully armed. All people inside were unarmed. Jews, Muslims, unarmed. What do you want from them? But they wanted to kill them. And as I was saying before, in this clash between moral values and evil, normally you'll think if one side is fully armed, so what are the chances of the other side? But I think that the legacy of Aner, it's almost a biblical legacy. If you stand for the right, if you stand for the values, you can beat evil, even if evil stands with all the ammunition that he wants. And this I think that when somebody is hesitating about, so go back to the 7th of October. There it's crystal clear what happened. You have evil and you have goodness from the outside, from the other side. It's black and white, and we have to. And although we live in a postmodern society where people are confused and people believe that there isn't any black and white in the world. In the 7th of October, we all visualized what is black and what is white, and we have to. I think that the problem of the West is that we forgot it. We were forgetting it all the time. We're thinking about all the grades in between, and there is no real white and there is no real black, but there is, and we have to stand against that. And if it won't be clarified, so we're going to suffer from that later on also. We have a website, anershapiro.com, and that's the website. And you can hear the music, you can see his art, and you can see all the merch there, and it's all donations for the non-profit organization, and it will all go to the kids of Jerusalem from all religions. That's hopefully will make a better future here in Jerusalem.
Thank you again for joining me on this edition of Proclaiming Justice. Please share this podcast with your family and friends. For more information about how you can get involved, please visit our website at pjtn.org. As a PJTN Watchman, you can help us keep up the fight to preserve our freedom for our children and their children for such a time as this.